Welcome back to another episode of our Subaru WRX build series, and in today's video, we're talking wheels. So, when we picked up this car, this 2004 Subaru WRX STI, which I'm sure you guys are all well aware of by now, it happened to come with an extra set of wheels. And no, I'm not talking about these beautiful Rotas right here. I'm talking about these, the OEM BBS STI wheels. Now, when the owner gave them to us, he said, well, you can have at them. They're basically pretty rough and the tires are no good, but if you want them, go ahead and take them. So naturally, we did, knowing what we could do with these wheels to restore them to look like new. So the stock color on these were the original silver. As much as we would have loved the gold BBS, we took what we can get. Silver is okay with us, but they were hammered, they were pitted, they were chipped, and most of that paint was falling off and the tires were obviously no good. So we took these wheels down to Western powder coating to get these things restored. So when we were there, we learned a lot about powder coating and everything that goes into that. It's not just spraying on something and baking it in. There's a lot of prep work that goes into powder coating in general. So what we had to do is actually strip these wheels down to nothing. And this is a combination of chemical stripping and sandblasting. So it's not just one way or another. It's typically both of those things to get them when they're in one piece. Then from there, we had to choose what color we wanted to go with. We thought since the car came with silver BBS, we'd keep it true to the original color. So we chose the silver color, but we wanted something that most detailers would appreciate, which was a little more gloss. And by a little, I mean actually a lot more gloss. So we ended up doing a two-stage powder coating on these wheels. We hit them with the base color and then hit them again with more of that gloss powder, leaving us with a very, very, very glossy metallic finish. And they did a fantastic job. But what was the next step? Well, it came down to choosing tires. Now, this is just one of our sets of wheels and tires for this car. We want to have a couple different options for the next owner, and we want to have some fun with the car while we have it. So we picked up another set that we'll show you here in a future video, but we needed some tires for these more, I would say, boring OEM wheels, even though I think they're actually pretty nice myself. So we wanted to go with an all-season, but an all-season performance tire at that. Hence, the Continental DWS. These are an all-season tire that have some decent performance to them. Now, Levi wanted us to grab these because apparently he has them on his wife's Toyota Corolla, and he says they're a high-performance tire. I was like, Levi, there's no such thing as Corolla and high performance nowadays, but I took his advice and I said, okay, let's roll them. So we picked up these tires that are actually pretty nice, pretty meaty, but the thing I like most about this tire setup here is going to be the sidewalls. Now, the mounting process was pretty cool, being over at Les Schwab, showing us how they mounted and balance these with all of the different kind of new tools and techniques that they have, as well as the technology. So it was really cool being able to see exactly where these wheel weights need to be placed. Now, once I got them mounted, we brought them back to the TRC HQ where they've kind of been sitting in a pile with other wheels and tires. So we need to do something with these today. And by something, I mean, I think we need to coat these things. So to get started, we need to take these wheels over to our signature coating table. Whoa! I guess you can say I forgot we have the ability to teleport around here, but that's okay. So with our wheel and tire here on our coating table, we need to get started with this. So what we have here is GTECHNIQ panel wipe. You have seen us coat several wheels here on the Rag Company YouTube channel, so I'm not going to talk through every single little step, but I'm going to walk you through the basics here. So we have panel wipe. We have a relatively clean wheel. If you're doing this on a dirty wheel, make sure to give that thing a deep clean before coating them, as you will be coating in all of that dirt underneath. So this being fresh powder coat, I know that we are good to go. Now, we chose to get the tires mounted first on the wheel because we already have, I love that sound, the wheel weights on the wheel, meaning that we won't have any issues with the wheel weight sticking to a coated barrel. So now we can coat the entire barrel with no issues whatsoever. Ask me how I know. I may have learned the hard way. Love that sound. So what we're going to be doing a panel wipe. We're going to do a wipe down here, probably an Eagle 350. I have an FTW here, also another great panel wiping towel. So what I like to do, give my towel a couple sprays with panel wipe. I'm having it at this angle so I can show you guys completely. If I were to have it laid down, you won't be able to see as much. So from here, you can shoot the face of the wheel if you would like to. Typically, you don't have to because you might miss a little bit of that panel wipe, so shooting onto the towel is your best bet. From there, we're going to be going through and wiping down all of the spokes. These wheels are a little bit more intricate and kind of a pain to clean, hence why I like using something with a deeper pile as the Eagle Edgeless 350. Doing our wipe down here. Gosh, dude, these wheels look great. They're not as maybe as cool as the future set of wheels you guys are going to see here on the channel, but these things are definitely still pretty awesome. And I think that there's just something about the OEM look, the OEM Plus look, that I think is coming back, especially on these earlier generations of like the STIs or like the Evos or any of these older cars that kind of had that rally heritage with those really, really cool parts. So I typically like to start with panel wiping the faces first. It just makes things easier for me, and then what I'll do is the barrels from there. So a little bit of panel wipe into our towel, and then wiping out the barrels. Now, one thing you want to make sure to coat is going to be the inside of the spoke. So basically in the inside of that barrel, the back side of that spoke, because that's where a lot of brake dust is going to be settling. So giving our wheel a wipe down. That's it. Seriously, that's how you panel wipe a wheel before coating. It's really, really easy. It's not complicated, especially when it's a new wheel or a freshly powder coated wheel. So at this point, we can jump straight into coating. Now, if you've made it this far in the video, you're probably wondering, Anthony, what about the center caps? We didn't forget. We've been saving these things as the cherry on top because really no wheel is complete without that center cap, right? And if we didn't put a BBS center cap in here, these wouldn't really be a BBS wheel. Is that how that works? I'm not sure. But anyway, these center caps here are just as rough as the rest of the wheel, or were as rough as the rest of the wheel, or is currently rougher than the... There's some complications there. These things are pretty rough. These things are not. So we're going to be polishing out the center cap with our Rupes Hybrid Nano, the toothbrush polisher, with a wool pad and a little bit of DA coarse, then following through with some DA fine and a foam pad. Now we will be able to correct these. These have some water spotting on them. They have some scratches. They just really aren't as ideal, but they're in overall good shape. Now in terms of what these are made out of, this is kind of like a plastic overlay, but a very thick see-through plastic at that, whereas I think the BBS underneath is just a sticker. So we do have some room to polish this thing out. So what we're going to be doing first is taking our wool pad here, a little bit of DA coarse, digging in, kind of getting rid of most of the major stuff, then following through and finishing it out. So enjoy the beauty shots. All right, guys, and that is a wrap. This wheel and tire looks pretty awesome. Just to think we have 3 more of these things and an another wheel and tire video on the way as well that I think you guys are really gonna like. For some of you guys that like to modify your cars, everything from wheels to really, really fancy and meaty tires. I think you guys are gonna like it for sure. So these wheels are awesome. I have to say, I love the OEM look. And so I'm gonna give a shout out to Western Powder Coating for getting these all done up, looking how they look today. They really do look awesome. And our friends over at Les Schwab for getting these Continental DWS mounted up here so we can drive that Subaru in all weather conditions. So as always, guys, if you guys like this video, make sure to give us a big thumbs up. Subscribe down below for more and stay tuned for more videos right here at The Rag Company.